Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Basepaths, the show where I tell you all about the different ways that players can get from high school all the way up to the major leagues. Joining me today, one of the guys who's at the very, very top of next year's draft class, Walker Jenkins. Walker, how we doing, my man?
Doing great. Hope you are as well.
Man, I'm doing awesome. It's great to get to talk to you. I know you just had a game, if I'm correct. So hope you did well. Hope everything went well. Hope we're doing good.
Yeah, down here in near Hoover in Alabama, and just got rained out. So on the road again and heading back to Perry. But yeah, we were doing well. Up to nothing. But yeah, the rain gets you sometimes.
Yeah, that is not fun. I mean, it's been pouring here all day too. I know some guys up here who were at All-Star games and stuff. They did not enjoy it. Thunderstorms, flooding, a whole field was like in an inch of water. Like it was bad.
It's summer rainstorms for you, man. Come out of nowhere.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about you as a player just to get started. As I said, a lot of places have you at that top five mark. Personally, I'm not no bias here. I have you top three and not number three, but you know, that's no bias. I'm just, your game is you're a five tool guy. Let's be honest. I mean, you can do everything. You didn't commit a single error this year. You had an opposing coach say that if there were people on base 100%, we are walking him every time. We're not throwing him a pitch. Um, so, like, I mean, obviously you expect that type of stuff for a top five guy, but I mean, you're ridiculous.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I've worked my tail off. Um, I think that's why I've gotten to where I am today. I think some of those guys maybe boost me up a little bit more than is needed because baseball's a sport you definitely fail in. But I appreciate all those things that people say. But I don't know. I think I've earned respect a lot just from the way I play the game, how I play hard, and just how hard I've worked on and off the field. So
Yeah, I mean, it definitely shows. It definitely comes through in your game with, the 527 average, 13 doubles, 10 home runs, two triples, 18 stolen bases, 40 RBIs. I mean, those are amazing numbers. But this is my question for you, right? So I was talking to Owen Murphy last week, and he said he was not a very big analytics guy. He'd rather just, pop one the other way and get a nice little single because they couldn't get to it in time. Are you a guy who, looks at those analytics, or are you not at that stage yet where you're like, I'll look at them when I'm in the bigs, but like right now, I'm just going to do what feels right?
I mean, definitely. You obviously you're definitely not going to use things like that as much right now. You don't have the technology and all the things surrounding you. But I mean, I'll definitely use that certain thing when I can. Like I'm gonna be going to the USA baseball stuff down in Cary. They're huge analytics people. I'm gonna love to look at that stuff so I can see what I can do to help make my game better and make me get better and become a better athlete, better baseball player. Kind of like what Owen was saying though, like in high school ball and travel ball, a lot of times you don't see that much analytical stuff. I mean, and it's starting to develop a lot more. Like you're starting to see more like that at Lake Point and here at this Perfect Game event in Hoover. They're starting to show exit velos and different spin rates on the pitches and how hard they are, and you're starting to see more and more stuff like that, which can definitely help. And I definitely use that to my advantage when I can. But right now, I'm still probably less analytical than I am more analytical. I don't use stuff like that as much just because it's a resource I don't have. You know what I'm saying? Um, Once I get college ball, I will use that to my advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of guys up here in New Jersey, they have a lot more access to things like that because of just facilities and all the facilities. We're a smaller state. All those facilities are so close together that basically anyone who can get into one of those facilities can use that stuff. So
Yeah,
it's much bigger up here, but a lot of people, you don't want to have to travel an hour and a half one way just to practice and just to train one time.
and that's the problem for me. The closest facility with anything like that to me is about an hour away. I live right down by the ocean, It's kind of like I just put in the whole hard work, go to the batting cage, and get my work in, and out to the baseball field. And like you said, there's definitely some pros and cons to everything. I think I would not like to hit on in a batting cage on like a hit tracks every day, because I think it would make me get big, and I would try to see like the exit velocities I could put up every day, and I wouldn't stay in my swing. You know what I'm saying? May not be taking game like swings because I'm trying to get too big. But at the same time, I think it is good to go in there every now and then and kind of see where I'm at, see what I can improve on, to see how much I can get better, and see just kind of get a gauge. But I mean, I think it's just you need to have a healthy medium to it all. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's going to be a big thing for me, especially as I get older and go to different places and have access to more things. Is figure out that spot that is best for me.
Yeah, man. I mean, again, you are only a junior, which I say, you're going to be, you're ending your junior year, ending your junior season, you're coming into senior year. A lot of the other guys I'm going to be talking to are already seniors,
Hmm.
but you have a whole nother year of like, summer ball camps and like, again, USA baseball, things like that to prove why you're this top five, top three guy. Um, is that something you're excited for? Or are you like, you're already geared up, you're already in it. You're just going to continue from the season. So you're not like excited to get there.
I mean, I'm extremely excited, man. This should You have to love this stuff. If you don't love it, you aren't going to be successful. The grind, just the competitiveness of it all. I'm a very competitive person. I enjoy going down and competing against some of the top players. It's a ton of fun to me, and it tests you and it tests other people around you. At the end of the day, that's ultimately what makes you a better ball player. And I just love playing ball. I can play all summer, all fall, all spring, all winter, and just not get bored of it. And so I'm definitely looking forward to the rest of this summer and the upcoming high school season, and whatever my future holds. So,
Yeah, man. I mean, it's pretty obvious that you love it the way you talk about it. And again, by the fact that you're, North Carolina Player of the Year as a junior with, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of other very talented players in North Carolina that are from this year's class. So a whole year above you, and you were still able to, go out there, compete as the best of them, as Gatorade showed. Um, but yeah, again, congrats on that and everything going on. But yeah, is it so? Obviously, next year is the first year they're going to have a draft lottery for the MLB draft. Um, that obviously makes things a little bit more interesting, and really anyone could be getting the first overall pick. It's not going to be, hey, I'm going to the worst team. You could be going to, a team that's has a long history of developing players really well and always stays in that middle of the pack. And
yep.
now they're going to be getting top guys like, yourself, and the top guys from this year, like Drew and stuff like that. Um, so is that something that's exciting to you, or is it more of like, it doesn't matter to you because you're going to go in there, you're going to grind every day, no matter what?
I mean, it's one of those things. I personally, I kind of like it. If it had never been introduced, I wouldn't have cared. Now that it is introduced, I think it's pretty cool because, I mean, teams in the past have been known to kind of sandbag, especially when they're halfway through the season and having an awful season. Start trading players, some of the better players, and just doing things like that to where they lose even more, so they can get top picks in the future years to help develop their organization. So I like how this kind of prevents teams from doing that. How each team goes out there and does everything they can to win every time. But I mean, like you said, it I don't think it affects me too much, but I do kind of like how it gives me a better chance of going to a team that may possibly have win the World Series the year I get to the league. I don't know how often that happens for a lot of teams that have had the first round pick the last couple of years, especially when they have the worst record. So it's things like that I think I will look forward to and like about it.
Yeah, man. I mean, minor league baseball is something that not a lot of fans care about unless they have a guy who's like the guy, like Anthony Volpe, just as an example. Like an Adley Rushman, stuff like that, or if they're in the area. Um, so with that being said, minor leaguers don't get a lot of love. That's kind of the whole point of this. Um, make you, more than just a number and a bat out there, number and a glove, whatever. So again, minor leaguers, they're not going to get that much love, but guys like you are getting you're going to be more talked about than a lot of the like lower level guys and stuff. Um, do you see the hype online? I was talking to Owen. Owen doesn't really see like any of that hype stuff. Any like he's not looking for what ranking he is or stuff like that. Are you one of the guys who like looks at that stuff or you're like, it doesn't matter. It'll matter when I'm there?
I've always been a person. I've never been huge on social media and things like that. I don't really look for that stuff. I mean, it's kind of it all happened very quickly for me. Honestly, it happened at the 2 falls ago, or a fall and a half ago, or something, 2 summers ago, something like that. I went to a showcase, and after that, I did extremely well at that showcase. And then after, like, I got moved to like 10th in the country, and it's one of those things. It's like I had no expectation to be there after that showcase. Just once again went out and did the best I could do, and showed off everything I had. And you get moved there, and I was like, that's really awesome. But at the end of the day, my ultimate goal is to still get drafted as high as I can, and become one of the best major league players I can. And I mean, obviously, everyone enjoys a certain amount of attention and having love from different fans and people like that. But I'm not looking for that right now. I mean, I'm just going out there and trying to become the best baseball player and athlete I can be, so I can have a long, successful career doing what I love. So yeah, I mean, I'll see that stuff sometimes, but I'm not going out there looking for it, trying to make it happen, craving that type of attention right now.
I mean, that's the way to do it. Like if you see it, cool, awesome. Like you're gonna be like, okay, so people do, people are seeing the work I'm putting in, but you don't want to be out there looking for it. It'll make it less worth it when it does come, stuff like that.
That's exactly right. I mean, the one that works in silent is the one that comes out and surprises everybody. So
Yeah, I mean, again, that's easily the way to do it, in my opinion. Again, I'm not one of those guys who's, being ranked top 10 in the country, top 5 in the country, but that is, the humble, the down to earth way to do it. And it shows how much you actually care about the game itself, not just the notoriety and attention. And that's awesome to me.
yes, sir.
Um, One thing about you that is talked about a lot is the fact that as a lefty, your swing is so, I mean, your swing is awesome, dude. Like it's like the perfect baseball swing. I mean, it's so clean. Like, um, did you just always swing like that, or have you like worked on the way you hit and the way and the style of your swing?
First of all, thank you. I really I really appreciate that. And I mean, swings come a long way. I think I've always had a relatively smooth swing. But I've learned a lot over the last, especially couple of years. Um, I mean, certain things like the way I set up, I've always had a pretty square stance, and it's kind of I've kind of adapted a little bit of an open stance. I've always been a backside hitting kind of guy, hit the ball where it's pitched. But you learn different little things that help the swing get better, and I'm sure my swing is a very fundamental swing. I don't have a lot going on. I try to stay very simple. I don't want much head movement, so I can see the ball as well as I can. But that's something I've definitely worked at. That's come a long ways. I mean, as a younger kid, stuff's a lot more herky jerky and got a lot more going on. As I've gotten older, stuff is definitely simplified in my swing, which has allowed me to be more successful. But I mean, I definitely haven't always had the same swing. Stuff has definitely changed over time and gotten better.
Yeah, man. And then we haven't talked much about your fielding, but again, no errors in an entire season of baseball. Um, which is impressive because of how you're hitting and everything. For some guys, hitting at that level does take away a little bit from how much they focus on fielding. Um, do you? I know you're a center fielder right now. Do you like center field, or have you played the other ones? Do you like a specific outfield position more than center field, but you just play there right now because you're the best at it?
Center field is definitely my favorite spot. I feel like I'm a very good communicator, and that's helped me a lot out there. But I also just like being able to take charge. I feel like I take very good routes to balls, and I'm a very smart player. And I think that's one reason I haven't made any errors. I mean, in the outfield, once you get to higher levels, you don't see many drop fly balls. That's not normally where errors happen. A lot of times it's on throws, it's on tough ground balls in the gap that you try to be too quick on. And I think that's one thing that's just allowed me to do so well out there and be successful. It's just I'm very fundamental out there as well, and try to think through plays before they happen, and try to be very smart with everything. Like I said, there have definitely been situations this year in high school where I could get kind of big and try to use my arm on a play that may not be necessary, but instead of trying to throw a guy at a home that's already halfway there, you hit your cutoff man and throw it through his head instead of accidentally airmailing the catcher, allowing that runner to hit that ball to get to second or third. And it's things like that. I don't think, like you said, I think my defense may be a little underappreciated sometimes. But that's something I've definitely worked at too. And it's just, I don't know. That's something I think. Hopefully, as I get play more baseball and get seen even more, it gets appreciated. But center field is definitely my favorite spot, and that's why I'd like to stick. Some people think I'm going to move to one of the corners just because of my bat and size. Um, that's one area I want to prove people wrong. Just because I definitely think I have the speed. Plan on going out this summer and running well and doing what I have to. But it's a lot of times that people like they stick people in certain positions. I think because of the stereotypes almost. You don't see many center fielders that are going to end up being 6'3", 6'4", 225 pounds. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times they're a smaller, quick twitch guy, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to play wherever teams need me, but my goal is to compete and try to win that center field spot in every team I'm on. So
Yeah, that's actually kind of what I was getting at is your speed because it's not talked about enough. Dude, you can fly.
I mean, I think I run. Like I said, you don't see many guys that are my size that I feel like move nearly as well as me. Um, and I feel like I only keep getting better at things like that as well. I keep getting faster, and one thing that I think people question about me is that first step and that quick that twitchiness, which I think is once again a lot better than a lot of guys, even other guys in the center field position that are at the top of the country. So I mean, it's things like that I think I'm going to go out there this summer and this next year and try to show people that I can do.
Yeah, man. Again, it's the smoothness. Like for such a big dude, your first step is extremely smooth, which is impressive because there's not many guys who have that at your size. Like there's a few. I don't want to, name drop guys like Aaron Judge on you because that's like, that's a little unfair. You're in junior year of high school, but the style of, hey, I'm big, I'm fast, I can play anywhere I need to in the outfield, um, is kind of the thing that is makes you a very special player in my mind. Because again, obviously the bat is awesome, but having a guy who's as big as you, as smooth as you in the outfield, in center field specifically, is so valuable, especially in today's game with guys, popping the ball all over the field. You have to be able to get anywhere, and if you're 6'3" and as fast as you are, you know you're going to be able to get anywhere you need to like that.
Yeah, and that's the ultimate goal. I mean, a lot of times, like I said, people like kind of look at me stereotypically and think I'm a stereotypical right fielder. I'm a strong arm, a big bat, I'm a power bat. But at the same time, it's like I think about it, it's like if I'm faster than y'all center fielder and the center fielder that's already there and can say make more plays and help the team win, I don't see any reason why I couldn't. I mean, you got guys like Mike Trout. I mean, I want to say the average 60 time is I don't know 6'6" for the MLB center fielder if I'm not mistaken. And Mike Trout is a 6'2", 6'1", 235, 240-pound guy. It's out there running a 6'4", 6'5". And that just kind of shows you. I mean, there are guys that can definitely go out there and do it. And I do think it definitely depends on the coaching staff and the people that are there and which can determine where you play. But like I said, I'm going to always try to prove and do what I can to if I want to play center field to do what I can to play.
Yeah, man. Again, I'm looking at two different sites, two very notable sites. One says, hey, this kid could, mature right in that perfect area where he can play center field at his size. And then the other one saying, I mean, he might become a right fielder, but it doesn't matter because you're going to put in that work, like you said, because it's something you love and you want to have a long, successful career. So, you know, from listening to you talk, obviously you want to prove that you're the best in being center field because you can and people don't think you can, but your love for the game shows, and it's proof that you can prove that you are that guy, but you don't have to because you love the game, and that really comes through, not only in talking to you but in the way you play the game. We're gonna move on here to a little bit more of the like you as a person stuff. Um, so obviously, like you said, it's only been 2 years of you being, top 10 in the country, top five in the country, stuff like that. Um, who's someone in the game, guys like Mike Trout, because you are a bigger guy who wants to play center field. Who's someone that you model your game after? And then who was your favorite player growing up?
It's hard to not model your like myself after guys like I said, Mike Trout. I really like Ronald Acuna Jr., Bryce Harper, all those guys. Just very energetic, hype guys that just I feel like play the game hard, do everything they can to win. But I got to say my favorite player probably growing up was Bryce Harper, especially when he was I mean like the 2012 to 2015, that area when he was really just starting to get big and become the superstar he was. I really liked him when he was with the Nationals. And then obviously in 2015 he had his that crazy MVP season. So as a kid, he was definitely my favorite player growing up.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I probably have a 2015 All-Star Game Nationals hat because I went to one game and loved watching Bryce Harper. Like I was just like, all right, let's buy it. Like, let's go.
Yep.
But yeah, he was the villain during that time. Like he was the bad guy. And I think that's a thing that a lot of kids like, they don't want to admit that they like the villain, but like we like the villain.
Yeah, he was just a guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like you couldn't say anything to Bryce Harper during that time. And if you did, you were gonna either, get taken yard, get thrown out at home. Like he was gonna do something to get you back. Like
Oh,
it
yeah.
wasn't a discussion. Like you lost.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all right, man. I think it's just about time for questions from my mother. Now, this is a little segment. I ask you
Awesome.
four questions. Four questions from my mom. They're different all the time. So my mom does do research on all the guys that I have coming on the show because that's who she is. She loves stuff like that.
Awesome.
And she saw on a website that you you do like camps with kids and you have a youth group and stuff. And she was a youth group leader. She'll tell you all about that. If you had to talk to her, it'd be the first thing she'd bring up. Um, do you enjoy doing stuff like that? And is that something you see continuing into like your career, being one of those guys who's out in the community?
For sure. I want more people to enjoy baseball and be around the game and want to play it more. I even some of my buddies that are my age, just a little bit younger. Some people that aren't that young. I enjoy talking baseball with them. Say I may know a little bit more about the game, so they can learn more and become a better player. And I think as I get older, I'm gonna love teaching younger kids. I mean, just I remember when I was say I don't know, maybe 6 or 7, going up to this place, the Wilmington area in North Carolina, and going to some camps there, and just kind of like finding people that knew more about baseball than me and learning, and that love that kind of built for the game at that age, and wanting to become the best baseball player I can, and just kind of craving that I want to know more and more and more. I want to be that person for that 6 or 7 year old kid that wants to become the best baseball player they can be. So I definitely think as I get older, I'm going to continue helping with youth baseball and then just youth kids in general.
All right, man. Question number two from my mom. What is your favorite one restaurant to eat at and two home cooked meal?
Oof. God, I'm a food guy, man. This one's going to be tough. All right, so fast food restaurant. I gotta go Chick Fil A. Gotta go Chick Fil A for that. But if we're talking like a restaurant where I think we're gonna sit down at and enjoy a meal, mm, somewhere with a steak. I think I'm gonna have to go somewhere with like a steak and like some. You can't go wrong with like an Outback. It's not my favorite. There's this place down near where I live that's called Joseph's. That's pretty good. That's one of them. I could go there all the time. They got good Italian food. Then you can get a steak, and then so that's definitely one of them.
All right. And then, so would you say favorite meal is a steak?
Yeah, I gotta say steak or some sort of chicken.
Yeah. Steak has been a popular answer. Last week I had steak tacos as the answer. Today we got steak.
Yeah, just a nice medium rare, medium steak with. You can't go wrong with it. Can't go wrong.
All right, man. Question number three. What would your walk-up song be?
See, I told myself going into high school I was going to do throwbacks every year, and so I had my walk-up song this year was "So Fresh, So Clean" by Outkast.
Nice.
I've liked that one. And then last year, the year before, it was "Big Papa" by the Notorious B.I.G. And so both of those went pretty hard. I like both of those, and I could see myself doing those in the future at some point.
That's awesome. That's so,
Yeah, I was like the throwbacks. Throwbacks are where it's at.
bro, that's great. All right. Last question here, and then I'll let you go, let you enjoy your car ride back home. Um, what is your favorite baseball team?
I'd previously said Bryce Harper was kind of my guy growing up. I definitely like the Nationals. But my dad was always a huge Chipper Jones fan. Being a North Carolina kid, you don't really have any baseball teams in Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. So it's kind of like
Yeah,
Atlanta.
nothing.
Atlanta was the closest team for the most part. So my dad kind of put me on the bandwagon for the Braves growing up. I've always really liked the Braves for that reason. I also grew up a Derek Jeter fan, and
Hey, here we
I
go.
wouldn't say I'm a Yankees fan, but I definitely like some of the Yankees players and root for some of them. But I have to say my favorite team's the Braves. I gotta go the Braves.
Listen, a lot of my buddies are from that area where, like, the Carolinas, even
Yeah,
like Alabama, there's no team down there. Like Mississippi, it's just all that whole area is just Braves fans. It's just
yeah. It's,
insane.
and you can't not love the energy in Atlanta either. That place is just
Truist is
incredible.
bumping. It's
Yeah,
bumping.
it's
There's never not a sellout.
no, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a insanely devoted fan base. Got a championship this year, which was awesome to watch on TV. Like you could tell that place felt like an earthquake.
It's just been a while. Yeah, the Braves have a bunch of superstars too, man. A bunch of guys that I feel like a lot of people look up to. At Freddie Freeman, they got Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson, and Jock Peterson. Just all these guys that people are just like probably a lot of kids' idols. And I think that's another thing. The Braves are just like great fan base, great area, just a ton of great ball players. Just I feel like even for the people that say they don't like them, deep down they like them.
All right, man. Well, thank you for coming on.
So
This has been awesome to get to talk to you. Hopefully, before the draft next year when you're gearing up for the combine and all that, I'll get to talk to you again. Um,
I'd love to.
and yeah, that's been all for me, man. Thank you for coming on. Thank you, everybody at home, for listening. This has been the Base Pass with Luke Crummage. Make sure to follow the TikTok. And yes, the Base Paths was taken on TikTok, so it's just the Base Path, just no S. Um, but yeah, thank you again.